Opo.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kita na yung screen?
Yes
Opo,
po.
sir.
Opo, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, again, good morning, class. Good morning, BSP 23.
Good
Welcome to
morning.
Sci 1, or Introduction to Psychology. Now, in my eyes, personally speaking, a psych major is not really a psych major until they take Introduction to Psychology. So, bakit ganon? Introduction to Psychology kasi is one of the basic foundations when it comes to the psychology program. So, kumbaga, itong subject na to, kaya nga Introduction to Psychology yung tawag sa kanya. Kasi it introduces you to the basic concepts and ideas, theories, notions that you should know as a psych major. Actually, it was recognized as one of the basic courses by CHED. So, kapag sinabing basic course, ibig sabihin, ito yung course or subject na kailangan nyo munang matake bago nyo matake yung other subjects. So, again, Sci 1 Introduction to Psychology, one of the basic courses for psychology program along with psychological statistics. So, yes, tama yung pagkarinig nyo. Kung pumasok kayo ng psych, sa tingin nyo, math, hindi nyo kailangan mag-compute, well, you're wrong. Kasi psychological statistics along with Introduction to Psychology is also a basic course. So, importante yung stats in the sense na sa psychology program kasi marami tayong research. Okay? Marami tayong research-based courses na mag-require sa inyo, of course, to analyze data. Sometimes, ang i-analyze yung data is qualitative, pero sometimes, quantitative din. So, of course, kapag quantitative data yung ina-analyze, you need to be familiar with the appropriate statistical treatments and tools that you should be using in analyzing this data. As for Introduction to Psychology's case, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, important siya as a foundation kasi kumbaga, sa Introduction to Psychology, pag-aaralan natin lahat ng pag-aaralan nyo all throughout your stay as a BS Psychology student in PLV. However, yung pag-discuss natin for this course, mas mababaw siya kung ikukumpara mo dun sa mga future courses na iti-take nyo. So, malinaw ba tayo doon?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes
sir.
po.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, kapag may questions naman, I will be asking you if may questions kayo, tapos sagot na lang para malinaw tayo. Okay?
Okay po, sir.
Okay. So, di ba usually kapag first meeting, ang mga ginagawa lang naman is orientation, tapos introduction of oneself, etc. etc. So, for today's meeting, we will be doing an orientation and simulation. So, kapag sinabing orientation, I will be introducing you doon sa basics ng courses. Ano ba yung dapat ninyong malaman bago tayo magsimula sa lesson proper? Pag-uusapan natin yung course description, course outcomes, course content, grading system, requirements, class policies. So yung mga bagay na yan, pag-uusapan natin later on. Aside from orientation, we will also be doing a simulation. So this in itself, yung meeting natin ngayon, is a form of simulation. So kapag sinabing simulation kasi, para siyang practice. So bakit tayo may practice session kung baga? Kasi the first meeting will act as an assessment kung meron ba tayong mga issues na na-encounter. And once na na-identify natin, ano ba yung mga issues na na-encounter natin during our first meeting, baka possible na magawa natin ng paraan yon para pag dumating na sa point na nasa ibang meetings na tayo, nasa later meetings na tayo, nidi-discuss na tayo, yung mga problems na yon, hindi na natin ma-encounter pa. So, yun yung purpose ng orientation and simulation. So, hindi na tayo mag-i-introduce yourselves kasi that would be a waste of time. Second year naman na kayo, majority sa inyo magkakakilala na. However, meron bang shifters tayo?
Meron po, sir.
Ayan. So, kumbaga, wait lang. Hmm. Okay naman. Ayan. So, although may shifters tayo, sila yung mga bago, syempre baka yung iba sa inyo hindi pa magkakakilala, magkakaroon naman kayo ng time para magkakilala pa. Gusto ko kasi yung meeting na 'to magfo-focus sa ano ba yung dapat ninyong malaman. So, you'll have plenty of time naman to get to know each other, kapag nagkaroon ng group activities. Although syempre hindi tayo face-to-face, iba talaga kapag face-to-face, eh. Um, pero you'll still have time to get to know each other nga. So, ano ba, um, kahit hindi kayo magpapakilala, siyempre need ko magpakilala para kahit papaano naman maniwala naman kayo sa akin sa mga sinasabi ko dito sa harap. So, I will introduce myself briefly. So, my name is Don Zarnihan. You can call me Sir Don or Sir Han. Kayo na bahala Don. Either naman, okay lang ako Don. I am a registered psychometrician. So, I took the boards in 2015 and I passed. And aside from passing, I also placed fifth on the 2015 board licensure exam for psychometricians. So after topping the board, I was asked um, by the review center kung saan ako nag-aral, kung pwede ba akong maging lecturer and student coordinator for that particular review center. So I said yes. So yon, nag-work ako as a lecturer and student coordinator. So kapag sinabing lecturer, you act as the reviewer. So I do review sessions. I used to do review sessions in that particular review center. Tapos, kapag sinabing student coordinator naman, kumbaga, you attend to the needs of the students. Inaalam mo ano yung mga kailangan nila, kung may problema ba sila, you give them advice as well with regards sa boards. However, na-observe ko kasi na during my stay in the review center, a lot of the time, the students who fail the board exam, kasi of course, ginagawa sa review center is that once lumabas yung results, minomonitor nyo kung sino yung mga pumasa, sino yung mga bumaksak, sino yung mga nag-top and all that. So, napansin ko na yung mga bumabaksak sa board exam, sila yung mga students na hindi maganda yung foundation pagdating sa pagdating sa knowledge na dapat natutunan na nila nung college sila. Kasi most of the time, ang nangyayari is that um, what was supposed to be 4 years worth of learning, kinakram nila in just a few months. Kasi you have to understand na kapag natitake kayo ng board exam, una, mas maganda is that you take it immediately habang fresh graduate ka pa. Why? Kasi kapag fresh graduate ka, mas fresh pa sa yung knowledge. So, mas naaalala mo pa siya. May tendency kasi na kapag yung knowledge, hindi mo siya ginagamit from time to time, magdedecay siya eh. Mawawala siya. Hindi mo na siya maaalala. It will take you, kumbaga, a much more difficult time to recall things that you've learned. Excuse me. So, ayun nga. So, it's very important, or sorry, it's ideal na mag-take kayo ng boards once na graduate kayo para fresh pa sa utak nyo, mas maalala nyo pa yung mga knowledge. Kasi let's say for example, nag-work muna kayo for 2 years bago kayo mag-take ng boards. Una, tatama rin kayo niyan. Kasi sasabihin nyo sa sarili nyo, ay may work naman na ako, bakit kailangan ko pa mag-take ng board exam? However, ang downfall nun is that meron tayong mga trabaho na nag-require na dapat may lisensya ka. Bakit kailangan ng lisensya? Remember, the license, kumbaga, is a proof that you are competent. Yung mga occupations kasi natin or yung mga jobs natin na merong license, ito yung klase ng mga trabaho na dapat meron kang ma-meet na objective standard para masabi na competent ka. And most of the time, itong mga jobs na to are service jobs. Okay, hindi naman lahat, pero maraming service jobs na nag-require ng license. Why? Because you are dealing with people's lives. Let's say, for example, you are a doctor, you are a nurse. Importante na may license ka para malaman ng mga pasyente mo na, ay, alam niya yung ginagawa niya. Okay? Kasi sabihin natin na nagkasakit ka. Saan mo mas gugustuhin magpa-check up? Saan mo gugustuhin manghingi ng reseta? Sa doktor na may lisensya? O sa nagsasabing doktor siya, pero wala siyang lisensya? Siyempre, doon sa may lisensya, doon sa may proof tayo. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta lang tayo maniniwala sa sinasabi ng ibang tao na wala naman silang proof. And again, that license serves as your credibility na, ay, dahil pumasa siyang boards, ibig sabihin, alam niya yung basic knowledge, alam niya yung ginagawa niya. So, that's the same thing as an occupation like a psychometrician, a psychologist, a guidance counselor. Yung mga occupations na yan, na may license as psych professionals, nag-require sila ng competence. And you are dealing with people's lives as well. Paano kapag nagka-counsel ka, tapos, ang nangyari is that, hindi niya resolve yung issue, tapos lalong lumala yung issue ng client mo. So, ang tendency is that, sabihin, possible na meron kang ginawang mali. Now, the board exam and the license, yun yung dahilan or yun yung kumbaga yung magsasabi sa mga clients mo na, ay, alam nga niya yung ginagawa niya. Natutunan niya yun sa school dati, nag-review siya, nag-take siya ng board exam, pumasa siya. Ibig sabihin, alam niya na yung basics. Okay? So, going back to my story earlier, ayun nga, napansin ko na karamihan sa mga students na nagtitik ng board exam, tapos bumabaksak, yun yung problem nila. So, kapag kasi, pagka-graduate mo, nagtake ka ng board exam, you have only a few months. Let's say, for example, in our case, 2015 kami nag-take. So, March kami graduate nun, tapos yung board exam, July. So, we only had like 4 months para mag-review. So, kung ikakram mo yung dapat 4 years worth of knowledge na natutunan mo into 4 months, mahihirapan ka talaga. Nangyayari din yon kasi, yun nga, hindi maayos yung foundation nila. May difference kasi between pag-review at pag-aaral eh. Kapag sinabing nagre-review yung isang tao, ibig sabihin natutunan niya na yung bagay na yun dati. Rine-recall niya na lang ulit. Nagbabasa na lang siya, ay, ito yung pinag-aralan namin dati. Pero kapag sinabing nag-aaral ka pa lang, ibig sabihin nun is that um, ngayon mo palang natututunan yung mga bagay. So, yung mga pumapasa, yun yung mga nag-review. Tapos yung mga bumabaksak, yun yung mga nag-aral during the review sessions. So, bakit ko to sinasabi? Sinasabi ko to kasi I want you to take your major subjects seriously. Actually, all subjects. Pero you should take, kumaga, special care when it comes to your major subjects. Why is that? Sa board exam for psychometricians, we only have 4 board courses or 4 board subjects. You have series of personality, which you will be taking next cycle. You also have psychological assessment, which you will be taking next semester. Tapos, you have abnormal psychology, which you will be taking on your 3rd year first semester. And then you have industrial psychology, which you will be taking on your 3rd year, I believe second semester siya. Now, while we only have 4 board courses or 4 board subjects, the psych field kasi, majority of its theories are interrelated. So, possible na yung mga diniscuss sa ibang courses, nag-overlap siya dun sa mga lessons ng mga board courses. So, ibig sabihin, imperative na yung mga bagay na dinidiscuss din sa isang course, naiintindihan nyo rin siya. Kasi possible na necessary na naintindihan nyo muna yung diniscuss sa isang course bago nyo maintindihan yung concepts sa board courses. So again, ini-establish ko sa inyo na dapat maintindihan nyo or seryosohin ninyo, especially yung mga major courses ninyo. Kasi that will be essential in your learning of the board courses and in your eventual passing for the board exam. I know second year pa lang kayo, baka yung iba sa inyo na-pressure na, pero yun nga, although may time pa naman kayo, as much as possible, I want to establish it to you as early as now. Kasi this is your first, first major subject or first major course for the psychology program that's psychology related at least. So, dito magsisimula yung foundation ninyo for your entire stay in PLV as a BS Psychology student. So, ano nangyari after kong mag-work sa review center? Since napansin ko nga na hindi maayos yung foundation ng mga students, I decided to transfer to the academe. So, lumipat ako sa school setting. Um, I have 4 years of teaching already. So, this will be my 5th year. Okay? And, ano ba? Nagturo ako for both senior high school and college. For senior high school, I used to teach personal development, practical research 1, practical research 2, research project, and immersion. And then for college, of course, I teach um, psychology-related courses. Okay? Major courses in psychology, board courses, and all that. Tapos, I also teach gen ed courses like gender in society and understanding the self. I am currently taking MS in psychology, major in clinical psychology. Okay? So, marami tayong fields sa psychology ha. Don't think na karamihan kasi ng mga tao yung isip na kapag psychology ay baliw, ganun. While that may be true na isa yun sa mga facets or areas ng psychology, hindi lang yun yung only area ng psychology. Marami tayong fields in psychology. We have industrial, we have forensic, of course we have counseling, and marami pa. So, do not put yourself in a box. Anong tawag dito? Possible na habang nag-aaral kayo, malaman ninyo kung ano yung field na meant para sa inyo. Okay? Yung iba naman, they take psychology as pre-law or kumbaga, pre-med course. So, pwede rin naman yun. Kasi pwede rin naman kayo, let's say for example, mag-psychiatrist kapag nag-med kayo. Tapos, okay rin naman na pre-law yung psychology program. So, I also do speaking engagements. I do talks in universities, like regarding the board exam. Um, pero I do talks lang in around Manila lang. Okay? Hindi na ako lumalabas ng Manila. I do seminars, workshops as well. I also enroll in online courses. Actually, recently, nag-take ako ng online course para at least magkaroon ako ng idea before classes start kung paano yung nagiging setup natin. So, I enrolled in an online course. Actually, online courses pala kasi madami. In online courses in Yale para at least magkaroon ako ng idea kung paano siya ginagawa sa Ivy League schools. Kasi of course, we want to set a high standard sa mga bagay na ginagawa natin. And hindi naman ganun ka layo, hindi naman malaki yung difference or disparity when it comes sa mga bagay na ginagawa nila and sa mga bagay na gagawin natin. With regards to the content, same lang yung content, pero yung delivery is, kumbaga, kinda different. Kasi of course, they have a lot more materials there. And tayo restricted tayo, of course, kasi we do lack materials. Pero, we'll make it through somehow. Okay? So, now that I've introduced myself, medyo autobiography lang. Anyway, um, anong tawag dito? So, next naman, I will be talking about the cycles. Okay? Kasi, we were informed that kumbaga, some of the students, although the cycles were already discussed in the orientation, some of the students still do not understand the cycles. So, if you still do not understand, each semester, or actually this semester lang, hopefully kasi next semester okay na, wala ng pandemic. So, this semester is divided into 2 cycles. So, we have cycle 1 and we also have cycle 2. Kapag sinabing cycle 1, um, sorry, hinati nga yung semester sa dalawang cycles. We have cycle 1 and cycle 2. For each cycle, meron tayong inassign na course doon. So, bakit ba hinati pa yung semester sa dalawang cycles? That is because napansin namin sa ibang universities and colleges na yung mga students nahihirapan sila kapag sobrang daming courses na tinitake nila at a time. Kasi, ang nangyayari is that for one course, marami na silang requirements na pinapasa. So kapag pinagsabay-sabay mo pa yan, sobrang dami na. So sabihin natin in your case, you have 7 courses there. So kung 7 courses, lahat ngayon yung tinitake nyo yan, sobrang dami yung gagawin. And minsan kasi yung mga courses, hindi ganun kahaba yung inaalat na time ng mga professors para mapasa yung requirements. So that will be a problem. So para malesa naman yung burden ninyo, para hindi kayo masyadong ma-stress sa workload, hinati namin yung cycle sa dalawa. Para at least for one cycle, konti lang yung course na iti-take ninyo. So, konti lang din yung requirements na ipapasa ninyo. Tapos, since nahati yung semester sa dalawang cycles, of course, makakat short yung time na allotted for each course. Kasi usually we have 18 weeks eh. So, ang mangyayari, since natin sila sa dalawa, magiging 9 weeks for each cycle yan. So, anong ginawa namin to make sure na magiging enough pa rin yung content, magiging enough pa rin yung time para ma-discuss lahat ng bagay na dapat ma-discuss. So what we did was we doubled the time allotted for each course. So let's say for example, Introduction to Psychology. Introduction to Psychology is a 3-unit course. So kapag 3-unit course, ibig sabihin 3 hours siya. Ngayon, since meron nga tayong cycles, dinoble natin yung time. So instead of 3 hours, naging 6 hours siya. Ngayon, hindi naman ibig sabihin na 6 hours yung allotted sa Introduction to Psychology is that 6 hours tayo magkaharap dito, nag-uusap. No, that's not the case. For online classes kasi, we have synchronous sessions and asynchronous sessions. Kapag sinabing synchronous sessions, ito yung nangyayari ngayon. Real time tayo nag-uusap. Kumbaga, live siyang nangyayari. Nagdi-discuss ako, nakikinig kayo, that is synchronous sessions. Kapag sinabi namang asynchronous sessions, ito yung mga modules, activities, requirements na pinapagawa sa inyo habang hindi kayo nag-uusap real time ng professor ninyo. So, the the suggested amount of time dedicated to synchronous sessions is 45 minutes. Okay? Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na online fatigue. Kapag sinabing online fatigue, ito yung phenomenon kung saan kapag yung isang tao nakaharap lang siya sa gadgets niya um, ng matagal na oras, hindi niya na naiintindihan or hindi niya na-absorb yung information na nabibigay sa kanya. Hindi niyo to masyadong ramdam kapag sa social media lang kayo or kapag naglalaro kayo. Kasi of course, madalas naman familiar na kayo sa information na ini-ingest niyo eh. Pero sa classes kasi, kumbaga, new information siya. So, kailangan yung maintindihan kailangan yung umintindi ng maraming information in such a limited amount of time. So, dun ngayon nagkakaroon ng problema pagdating sa pag-absorb. Kasi nga, di ba, kahit nga minsan sa face-to-face classes, kapag sobrang dami nang sinasabi, sobrang dami nang dinidiscuss, hindi nyo na rin maintindihan. So, lalo na sa online classes kasi meron nga tayong online fatigue. However, kasi, when it comes to Introduction to Psychology, anong tawag dito? Kumbaga, marami tayong content na i-cover eh. So, as much as possible, I will try to meet the 45-minute mark. Pero if hindi kaya, tatanungin ko naman kayo. Okay? Kung kaya pang umintindi. Kung kaya pang umintindi, mag-extend tayo. Pero if ever man na mag-extend tayo, hindi tayo aabot ng 3 hours. Okay? Siguro aabot tayo ng 1.5, max na yon. Or possible naman, let's say for example, 45 minutes, tapos mag-break muna tayo for a while, tapos saka i-continue. Para lang, kumbaga, para lang ma-absorb nyo lahat ng information na dapat yung matutunan. Kasi, ang madalas na napapansin ko na issue when it comes to online classes is that, yes, may module. Yes, the modules may be great, pero hindi kasi lahat pare-parehong visual learners lang. Di ba, we have different types of learners. We have visual, we have auditory, we have tactile learners. And again, hindi nga lahat visual learners. Yung iba, mas natututo sila kapag may taong nagsasabi sa kanila kung ano yung dapat nilang matutunan. Pagdating naman sa performance for tactile learners, meron namang module, sa modules may activities doon na you will be required to apply what you've learned. So, kumbaga, as you go along the activity, matututunan nyo kung ano ba yung application ng mga lessons na pinag-aralan natin. So, yun nga, as much as possible, gusto ko kayong matuto kasi, again, this course will serve as your foundation all throughout your stay as a BS Psychology student in the Pamantasan. Ayun, aside from doubling the time, what we also did was that, of course, sa original syllabus, we have 18 weeks worth of, kumbaga, of lessons. However, ang ginawa namin for this particular semester is that we identified topics and lessons that can be merged. So, nag-merge kami ng mga lessons na, kumbaga, nag-combine kami ng mga topics na sa tingin namin, based on our assessment or on our professional assessment, is related with each other. So, pinagsama-sama namin yung mga lessons na yon para magkasya siya dun sa time na meron tayo. However, it doesn't mean naman na pinag-merge yung mga topics is that meron na kayong mamimiss out. Kasi wala naman kaming inumit eh. Wala kaming tinanggal. Pinagsama-sama lang namin yung mga bagay na pwede namang pagsamahin. So, now I present to you the different courses for the cycles. So, for cycle 1, you have Introduction to Psychology, Psychological Statistics, and Pagsasaling Wika. For cycle 2, you have Theories of Personality, which is again a board course. You have Physiological or Biological Psychology. You have Zoology. You have PE as well. So kung mapapansin nyo, two of your major courses in psychology, which is Theories of Personality and Physiological or Biological Psychology, are on the cycle 2. So, linagay ko sila sa cycle 2 kasi nga, the Introduction to Psychology and Psychological Statistics are basic courses. So, para maintindihan nyo si TOP at saka si Biopsych ng mas maigi, dapat nabigyan mo na kayo ng necessary input galing sa Introduction to Psychology. Malinaw ba tayo doon?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Masyado ba mabilis?
Di naman.
Sakto, sir.
Di naman po.
Tama lang, sir.
Okay. So, next naman, discuss natin yung class policies natin. Okay? So, for our class policies, for our first one, participation is expected. Now, I want my classes, actually kahit nung face-to-face pa naman, I want my classes to be interactive. Bakit interactive? Kasi kapag merong interaction sa class, una, hindi kayo nabobore. Bakit di kayo nabobore? Kasi tinatanong ko kayo from time to time eh. Kumbaga, inaalam ko yung input ninyo pagdating sa mga bagay-bagay. So, I want my classes to be interactive as well kasi that will be a form of assessment para malaman ko kung natututunan nyo ba talaga yung mga bagay na dinidiscuss ko dito sa harap. So, just heads up, ano bang tawag dito? Nagpapa-recitation ako sa class. Always yan, kahit nung face-to-face pa. So, we will do recitation here as well. That will be done randomly. So, possible na mag-roleta tayo. That's one way of doing it. Para random talaga. Tapos, kapag tinawag, sagot na lang. No need to worry kasi yung recitation naman, hindi naman siya graded. So, walang pressure na dapat namin sagot ko para tumaas yung grade ko kasi baka ma-zero ako kapag hindi tama. Gusto ko lang talaga malaman yung insight ninyo and gusto ko lang talaga malaman kung natututo ba talaga kayo. Okay? I also want to promote a judgment-free environment for this class. I want this class to be safe for mistakes. May tendency kasi na yung ibang mga bata ayaw nila na mag-recite kasi natatakot sila magkamali kasi baka mapahiya, baka pagtawanan ng mga klase kasi possible na meron na silang history ng bagay na nangyari yun dati. Remember, you are all learning right now. You are all students. Possible na sa iba, mas mabilis sila matuto kasi fast learners sila. Possible na yung iba, mas need pa ng more examples para ma-absorb yung information kasi hindi ito yung preferred mode of learning nila. Pero you are all learning. So, if ever man na nagpa-recite ako, tapos sumagot yung kaklase ninyo, tapos mali, please don't laugh. Okay? Hindi naman kayo perfect. Meron din naman kayo mga bagay na hindi alam eh. So, possible na yung mga bagay na hindi nyo alam, alamin ng kaklase nyo na pinagtawanan nyo. So again, I want this to be a judgment-free environment. Malinaw ba tayo doon?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes po.
Opo.
good. So next naman is no coaching. So kapag nagpaparecite ako, um, sana no coaching tayo. No coaching kasi una, ano ba? Possible kasi na 'di ba, minsan especially dahil hindi tayo face to face. Minsan nga kahit face to face may nagko-coach pa, may bumubulong-bulong pa. Pero minsan kasi kapag nagpapa-recite, especially for online classes, possible na i-chat lang yung kaklase, tapos i-chat ng kaklase yung sagot, tapos makakapag-recite na. Coaching kasi defeats the purpose of the recitation. 'Di ba sabi ko nga sa inyo, gusto kong malaman kung natututo ba talaga kayo. Ngayon, kung sinabi lang sa inyo yung sagot, tapos yun yung sinagot nyo, i-assume ko na alam nyo talaga yung sagot. Pero hindi pala ganun yung case. So, imbis na madidiscuss ko ulit, marireiterate ko yung point nung bagay na diniscuss ko dati, hindi ko yun magagawa. Kasi ang assumption ko is that, okay na. Second thing, or second kumbaga, reason kung bakit ayoko ng coaching is that hindi siya nakakatulong in the long run. Ito para to sa mga nagko-coach ha. At first, iniisip niya siguro na ginagawa ko to para matulungan ko yung kaibigan ko, yung kaklase ko para di naman siya mapahiya. Pero in the long run, sila rin yung mahihirapan. Why? Kung hindi nila naintindihan yan during discussion, possible na hindi nila maintindihan yan kapag sila na lang nag-review. So what if habang nag-exam, hindi mo na, kumbaga, hindi ka na nila matanong, ano mangyayari sa scores nila? Most especially sa board exam, hindi naman kayo makakapagkopyahan dun eh. Kasi you're all taking the exam at the same day, you're all taking the exams at the same time, different venues yan. Hindi siya per school ha. So naka-alphabetical yan, depende sa region nyo. Let's say for example, nasa NCR ka. Alphabetical, you will be distributed to different venues. Yung iba sa schools yan nag-e-exam. So possible na may kaklase ka sa parehong venue, pero possible naman na hindi kayo magka-room. So that will happen. Hindi kayo, kumaga, hindi nyo magagawa ng paraan yun eh. So, ayun lang. Um, Alam ko na gusto niyo lang makatulong for the most part, pero kumbaga, this is an opportunity for your classmates to learn eh. Kasi kapag di nila nasagot ng tama, tas may nakasagot ng tama, i-explain ko naman kung bakit ganun yung tamang sagot. Kapag nag-coach kasi kayo, you are taking that opportunity to learn from them eh. And you should never do that. Okay? Next naman, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, you should mute your microphones when you are not spoken to para lang mabawasan natin yung background noise. Kasi minsan kasi di maiiwasan naman na may maingay sa surroundings natin. Let's say for example, tumatahol yung mga aso, nagchichismisan yung mga kapitbahay ninyo. So yung mga bagay na yan, possible kasi na maka-interrupt sa class. Tas next, paki-unmute na lang yung microphones kapag kausap kayo. Let's say, for example, I am asking questions katulad ng ginagawa ko from time to time. Tapos kapag nagpaparecite ako, paki-unmute na lang yung mic. Madali lang naman yun eh. Next is no cheating. So, of course, no cheating tayo. I want to establish a relationship full of trust with you. Okay? Any relationship naman, mapamag-jowa man yan, mapa-friends man yan, mapa-family man yan, very essential yung trust. And I want to have that with you. Um, During online classes kasi, mahirap of course, mahirap i-guarantee na walang cheating na nangyayari. However, always remember na mas maganda nang ginawa ninyo yung best ninyo sa isang bagay, especially for learning. Mas magandang ginawa ninyo yung best ninyo tapos nag-fail kayo, pwede naman kayo bumawi eh. Kaysa pumasa kayo, tapos hindi nyo naman pala naintindihan. Kasi again, yes, possible, nakapasa nga ako ngayon, mataas yung grade ko ngayon. Flat 1 ako, hindi ko sagot yung lahat. Pero at the end of the day, pagdating mo sa other courses, let's say for example, nag face-to-face na, hindi ka na makapag-cheat kasi strict yung professor mo. So ano mangyayari? Since hindi mo naintindihan yung basics, may hirapan ka ngayon. So again, no cheating tayo. Next, no sharing of materials with PLB students. So ito naman, um, as long as the materials are provided by your professors. Tapos, especially kapag gawa nila yung materials, as much as possible, do not share it with non-PLV students. Especially kapag hindi naman kayo nang hingi ng consent sa professor ninyo. Why? Kasi that is their intellectual property. Pinaghirapan nila yan. So, kumbaga, um, since intellectual property nila yan, hindi nyo magpaalam kung gusto nyong i-share yan sa mga non-PLV students. Okay? Pero kung hindi naman nila yan materials, let's say for example, link lang naman sa YouTube video, possible naman na i-share niya sa iba. Pero kung gusto niyo talagang i-share, you may ask permission from your professors. Next naman, talk to me about your concerns. So if may concerns kayo regarding the course itself, kung ano yung magiging process natin, ano yung magiging setup natin, you may talk to me. Actually, kahit hindi naman course related, kasi I am also your chairperson naman. So if may concerns kayo regarding the program, regarding kung ano yung nangyayari sa PLV, you may talk to me. Meron tayong consultation period. So ang consultation period natin is during our afternoon session. Okay, so di ba ang schedule natin is from 8 to 11 tas 12 to 3. So if ever may questions kayo, pwede kayo magtanong sa akin from 12 to 3. Tapos, aside from that, hindi nyo lang naman ako actually 12 to 3 pwede talagang i-consult. Okay, kumbaga yun lang yung official time. Pwede nyo akong i-consult anytime, any day. However, hindi kasi guarantee na makakapag-reply ako agad. Of course, I'm doing a lot of things. I'm doing a lot of personal I'm dealing with a lot of personal matters as well. Tapos I also have my responsibilities as a chairperson. I also do preparations for class. So possible na hindi ako makapag-reply agad sa mga concerns ninyo. So ang sure na makakapag-reply ako agad-agad is during our consultation period. And possible rin during Fridays. Kasi Fridays nasa school ako from 8 to 5. Tanggalin nyo na lang yung lunchtime doon ng 12 to 1. So from 8 to 12, tapos 1 to 5, on Fridays, possible na mabilis ako mag-reply. However, minsan kasi Friday nagmi-meeting kami. So possible na during meeting, hindi ako makapag-reply agad. Okay? And then last, be each other's support system. So right now, we are in the middle of crazy times. And some of you may feel like mas mabilis kayo mas stressed. Bigla na lang kayong nalulungkot. However, huwag niyo iisipin na may mali sa inyo. Sometimes kasi we think na, bakit ano nangyayari sa akin? Bakit ako nagkakaganito? Ano bang mali sa akin? However, tandaan niyo that an abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal. So, we are dealing with a pandemic right now. This should not be happening, but it is. So since we're dealing with an abnormal situation, magkakaroon talaga kayo ng abnormal reaction according to your perspective. Pero pagdating sa perspective ng professionals, yung mga bagay na na-experience nyo ngayon, that is normal considering the time that we are living in right now. So if ever na you need someone to talk to, you can talk to your friends, you can talk to your family, you can talk to your support system, to your classmates. You can also talk to the guidance officers, to the guidance counselors. I was informed by the guidance office na available pa rin yung services nila. The guidance counselors naman are under our department eh. So I want you guys to, if ever you feel like you're extremely stressed, or if ever you feel like you're in kumbaga, extreme distress, I urge you to talk to the guidance counselors. Available daw yung services na they provide online services eh. So you may contact them through their FB page, official Facebook page. And then ang alam ko magsa-schedule sila nun ng sessions with you. If ever naman na you need like for example, services from psychologists or psychiatrists, pwede nyo ako i-message tapos I can refer you to some of the psychologists I know. I can refer you also to telepsychological services. Okay? So, yun naman. Kasi I know a lot of people are struggling right now, especially with regards to their mental health. I personally know a lot. Marami nagsisat sa akin and all that. So, if ever you're one of those people, or if ever you know someone who's struggling as well, pwede nyo naman ako i-chat. Malinaw ba tayo doon?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes
Yes po,
po.
sir.
Okay.
Yes po.
Okay. So, next naman, proceed tayo sa course description. So, what is Introduction to Psychology ba? Introduction to Psychology is a broad coverage of the theoretical, conceptual, and empirical foundations of psychology in its main fields. So, I like to describe Introduction to Psychology as a wide yet shallow lake. Malawak pero mababaw lang na lake, na lawa. Bakit ganon? Kasi sobrang dami nating i-cover. Kasi nga katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, introduction siya to the entire program. Yung mga bagay na matututunan ninyo sa future courses, i-discuss natin ngayon sa Introduction to Psychology. However, hindi ganun kalalim yung magiging discussion natin. So, kumbaga, more on yung basics na dapat yung matutunan. Yun yung pag-aaralan natin. So, yung mga, kung theories man yan, kung concepts, kung ideas, yung mga tao na dapat ninyong makilala. Ngayon nyo sila makikilala at matututunan. So, next naman, let's proceed to the course outcomes. Kapag sinabing course outcomes, ito yung mga expected na dapat magawa ninyo once we're done with the course. Pagkatapos ng Introduction to Psychology, dapat alam nyo na or nagagawa nyo na yung mga bagay na to. So first is discuss and incorporate the major theories, perspectives, and concepts in psychology in explaining normal and abnormal behavior. So take note of the words discuss and incorporate. Kapag discuss kasi, ibig sabihin alam mo eh. So kapag alam mo isang bagay, madidiscuss mo siya, may explain mo siya. However, kapag in-incorporate mo na yung isang bagay na natutunan mo into different, kumbaga in the practical life setting, may application na nangyayari. So, since sobrang dami kasing concepts and theories and ideas and people sa psychology, madalas sinasabi na very important yung memorization pagdating sa psychology. Well, that may be true. I think comprehension and critical thinking is more important than memorization. Bakit? Una sa lahat, psychology kasi is about application. Unlike other programs or unlike other fields of study, yung psychology, mas madalas mo siyang may a-apply into your daily experiences eh. Kasi, of course, you're dealing with other people, you're dealing with yourself as well. So, yung mga bagay na natutunan mo, pwede mong i-apply into your relationships, into your interactions, into yourself as well. Tapos, makita ka ng sobrang daming examples ng concepts na dinidiscuss natin kahit saan ka tumingin sa environment natin. As long as may tao doon, may apply mo yung mga concepts na pag-aaralan natin. So I want you to not only learn or memorize the concepts, but I want you to be able to apply those concepts into your day-to-day experiences. Second of all, sa board exam naman, hindi naman yan identification, hindi naman yan enumeration. Sa board exam, multiple choice tayo. So, ang nangyayari kasi sa board exam, it's all about application as well. Sa board exam, may cases or situations, yun yung question. Tapos, itatanong sa inyo kung ano yung theory na best na mag-explain nung situation na yon, ano yung concept na related dun sa situation or case na yon. So, ganun yung setup ng board exam. So, gusto ko na masanay na kayo sa ganung setup para pagdating ng board exam, sisiyo na lang yung ganung klase ng items sa inyo. Next is differentiate and apply the methods of psychological inquiry in the research process. So I want you to be familiar with the different methods, research methods used in psychology and also apply them. Pero fret not, do not worry, kasi hindi naman tayo gagawa ng full-blown research sa Introduction to Psychology. Gagawa lang kayo ng research report, which I will be discussing later on. Yung research report, madali lang siya. Maigsi lang siya. So, hindi nyo kailangan mag-alala na ang dami-dami naman namin gagawin, ba't ganyan-ganyan. Kalma lang kayo, ha? Mamaya i-discuss ko. Next naman is determine and exercise professional standards and ethical behavior in the practice of research and psychology. So, we will also be discussing the ethical guidelines or ethical considerations na dapat ninyong iniisip when conducting research and when working as a psychology professional. Kasi of course, dapat meron tayong professional standards or ethical standards na dapat ma-meet. Kasi we are dealing with people. Naintindihan ba?
Apo.
Yes,
Yes
Yes,
sir.
po.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes
Opo.
po.
Okay. So, next naman, proceed na tayo sa course content. So, for the course content, I will be introducing you to the 8 units that we have. Tas, briefly explain ko lang, kumbaga parang preview siya kung ano yung matututunan nyo for each unit. Para at least may idea na kayo, what should I expect ba to learn from this course? So, for our unit 1, we have psychology as a science. And for this course, for this unit rather, we will be explaining the general points of psychology and identifying its key historical events. We will also be discussing and demonstrating the different methods of data collection and analysis and the ethical considerations that should be upheld while conducting a research in the field of psychology. So nga pala, this will be done, or we will start our discussion for the different units starting next week. So for this meeting, after this orientation and simulation, wala muna tayong gagawin. Okay? So wala muna na tayong gagawin for the rest of the period and for the rest of the other period, which is from 12 to 3. Okay? So yung the rest of the time, pahinga muna kayo. Um, kasi kumaga, transition period natin to eh, from no classes kasi 'di ba sobrang tagal nating walang classes. So transition period siya from no classes to online classes, which is widely different from anything that we've kumaga experienced before. So kailangan talaga there's bound to be an adjustment period for that. So kumaga magiging tough for both of us kung full-blown discussion agad tayo during the first meeting. So, anong i-expect nyo next week? Next week, pag-aaralan na natin yung mga tao na dapat ninyong makilala pagdating sa field of psychology. Okay? Sino ba yung father of psychology and all that? Yung mga major players dati sa psychology habang nag-emerge pa lang siya. Ano yung mga basic concepts na dapat yung matutunan? Ano yung mga key historical events na dapat ninyong malaman? Di-discuss rin natin yung mga different kumbaga research methods na ginagawa or ginagamit pagdating sa pagko-conduct ng research sa field of psychology as well as yung mga ethical standards na ina-uphold natin kapag gumagawa tayo ng research or di naman kaya kapag nagko-conduct tayo ng psychological services to our clients. Next is biological psychology. So this unit will serve as an introduction to your course next cycle, which is physiological or biological psychology. So sa unit 2 natin, we will be demonstrating knowledge and understanding of the biological explanations of human behavior and sensation. We will also be describing and differentiating the various neuroimaging techniques. So sa biological psychology, pag-uusapan natin, ano ba yung biological explanation for the mental processes and behavior? Ano ba yung nangyayari sa natin sa brain chemistry natin, sa brain sir kapag abnormality? Kapag naiirip tayo, kapag nakaramdam tayo, ano yung nangyayari sa atin, to our body, to our brain, to our nervous system? Pag-uusapan rin natin yung mga different techniques na ginagamit, kumbaga, para ma-identify yung structure and kumbaga yung functions ng different brain structures. So dito papasok yung mga neuroimaging techniques like for example, we have MRI, we have MRI, we have fMRI, we have PET scan and all that. Sayang kasi hindi tayo face-to-face classes kasi usually dito sa part na to I bring hindi yung mismong machine ha na ginagamit kasi hindi ko yung madadala, malaki yon. Pero I bring results of these tests. And although I will show pictures naman, pero mas maganda sana kung personal para at least nakikita nyo talaga siya ng personal tapos nakahawakan nyo pa yung results. So, sayang lang, pero yun, wala naman tayong magagawa eh. We have to adjust. Tsaka simpleng bagay lang naman yun. Kumbaga, little addition lang naman siya. Hindi naman siya necessary talaga na dapat makahawak ako para pumasa ako sa biopsych. Wala naman siyang ganun. So, for our Unit 3 naman, we have cognitive psychology. where we will be discussing and examining the cognitive abilities of humans. So kapag sinabing kasing cognitive, this refers to mental processes. Kapag sabing mental processes, ano-ano ba yon yung mga bagay na nangyayari sa isip natin? So, this includes intelligence, this includes learning, this includes memory. So, yung mga bagay na yan, under yan ng cognitive psychology. So, pag-uusapan natin ano ba yung mga theories na nag explain ng mga bagay na yon, ano ba yung mga disorders na related dun sa mga bagay na yon. So, next naman, Unit 4, we have developmental psychology. So, you will also have a course on developmental psychology, I think, next sem, if I'm not mistaken. Well, anyway, for developmental psychology, you will be determining and explaining the developmental milestones that occur for each developmental stage in a person's life. So sa developmental psychology, as the name suggests, pag-uusapan natin kung ano ba yung changes na nangyayari sa isang tao throughout his or her life. So for each stage, ano kumbaga yung mga dapat mong i-expect. Now, kumbaga, yung mga bagay na dapat mong i-expect na mangyari for each stage, yun yung tinatawag natin na developmental milestones. So, it is important for us to identify the developmental milestones para malaman natin kung possible ba na may abnormality yung isang tao. Why is that? Kasi kapag yung isang tao merong delay or hindi siya umaabot doon sa developmental milestones, possible na may problema. Let's say for example, dapat at this age yung bata nakakapagsalita na siya. Pero hindi pa rin siya nakakapagsalita. So ngayon, since alam niyo na dapat nakakapagsalita na siya at this point, ang gagawin is possible na ipa-check up niyo siya. Baka mamaya naman may problema sa hearing. So since hindi kayo naririnig niya magsalita, hindi siya makapag-produce ng sarili niyang sound. Okay, di rin siya makapagsalita. Possible naman na psychological yung problema. So, again, through knowing the developmental milestones, it will help you to identify kung meron bang abnormality. Next naman, we have the psychology of motivation, emotion, and stress. So we will be discussing and examining the different factors, theories, and concepts relevant to motivation, emotion, and stress, and its impacts to one's health. So dito sa unit na to, pag-uusapan natin yung different theories of motivation and emotion. Ano ba yung different factors na nakaka-apekto dyan? Pag-uusapan rin natin yung stress, ano yung nangyayari sa katawan natin kapag nasa-stress tayo, and paano nakaka-apekto yung stress sa atin, not only to our physical, but also to our psychological health. Next unit, we have social psychology. So sa social psychology, we will be identifying and discussing the social factors and forces that influence human behavior. So for social psychology, what we will do is we will be identifying, kumbaga, paano nakaka-apekto yung environment natin, yung interactions and relationships that we have to our behavior. So you will also have kumbaga, a course on social psychology in the future. Okay? Pero dito, pag-uusapan lang natin, kumbaga, preview lang siya ng mga concepts na dapat niyong maintindihan for social psychology. So, as much as possible, we will try to do social experiments kung kaya. Masaya sana to gawin sa face-to-face kasi we will do social experiments. Pero we'll see what we can do sa setup natin ngayon sa online classes. So for our next unit, we have theories of personality. So this will act as a preview or an introduction to your cycle to course, which is named the same. So theories of personality. So in this unit, we will be discussing and examining the different theories that explain personality. So makikilala nyo dito yung mga major theorists lang and their respective theories. Kasi maraming theories of personality eh. And we will not be able to discuss them in just a single meeting. Kaya nga we have a dedicated course just for that. So mapag-uusapan lang natin yung mga major theorists and the major concepts in their theories. And then, for our last unit, we have abnormal psychology, and for abnormal psychology, we will be distinguishing the hallmark symptoms of mental disorders and discussing the different therapies that can be utilized in treating them. So, sa abnormal psychology, pag-uusapan natin yung mga most common disorders. Pag-uusapan natin ano yung mga key features nila. Kumbaga, kapag nakita mo yung behavior ng isang tao, paano mo malalaman na baka may ganito siyang disorder? Pag-uusapan rin natin yung mga therapies or yung mga any form of treatment na possible na makatulong sa kanilang makarecover from that or at least ma-management lang yung symptoms. Kasi karamihan naman sa mga mental disorders, hindi cure treatment siya. The difference kasi between a cure and a treatment is that kapag sinabing cure, marireverse mo yung symptoms, mawawala. For example, kapag may lagnat ka, kapag nagkalagnat yung isang tao, tapos binigyan ka ng cure for that, or na-cure ka for that, wala ka lang lagnat. Pero kapag sinabi kasing treatment, andyan pa rin yung sakit, pero na-manage mo lang yung symptoms. So, kadalasan naman ganun pagdating sa mental disorders. Kasi, mahirap siyang i-cure, wala pa tayong cure for them. More on treatments lang talaga. So, nagets ba yung course content?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
po.
sir.
Yes.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. So, may questions ba? May questions?
Wala pa naman po, sir.
Wala pa
Okay.
naman po.
So, next naman, this will be our last discussion. So, we will be discussing the grading system. So, for our grading system, divided siya into two parts. We have 40% for major examinations and 60% for class standing. So, yung 40% major examinations will be your midterm examinations and final term examinations. Sa Introduction to Psychology, our major examinations are online paper and pen tests. Okay? So, sa major examinations naman, do not worry, hindi naman identification and enumeration siya. For my major examinations, always siyang multiple choice. Bakit multiple choice? Rinig ba ako?
Opo. Yes po.
May
Opo.
Yes po.
ingay ba?
Opo.
Yes po, dinig po.
Okay. So, ayun. For the major examinations, always siyang multiple choice. Kasi I want to train you for the board exam. So, parang ganun rin yung setup natin for the examination. I will be presenting you with situations or cases. Tapos aalamin nyo, based on the choices, kung ano yung applicable na concept or theory for that particular scenario. Do not worry, I will be giving you enough time naman to answer the examinations. As for the number of items, chine-check ko pa, in-identify ko pa kung ano yung kaya sa online setting. Okay? Pero usually mag-range lang naman yan from 50 to 100. Hindi yan lalagpas ng 100. Tapos again, I will be giving you enough time to answer. Okay? Next naman, 60% for class standing. So, yung class standing, yung mga nasa baba niya, lahat na yan. So, kumbaga, the entire 60% is made up of the following. First, our online quizzes. So, yung online quizzes natin, much like the online paper and pen test, I will give you enough time for that. However, for the quizzes, I tend to go, or kumaga, I tend to use identification and or enumeration, although I still use cases. So, kumbaga, ang nangyayari sa quizzes is that I will be presenting you with a case. Tapos, ipapa-identify ko sa inyo kung ano yung applicable na concept or theory for that, pero without choices. Bakit? Bakit ako nagpapa-identification? Para more on sa quizzes, training siya for your memory, for your knowledge. Tapos, pagdating sa major examination, more on dun na sa comprehension, tsaka sa critical thinking. Okay? Tapos, for our case analysis, similar siya sa quizzes in the sense na, kumbaga, similar siya sa quizzes in the sense na may cases, tapos, ipapa-identify ko sa inyo kung ano yung concepts. Pero sa case analysis, more on open-ended yung questions. Possible na magpa-explain ako. Tapos, meron siyang guide questions. Sa quizzes kasi, more on, eto yung tanong, eto yung sagot. Sa case analysis, ano yung, eto yung tanong, ano yung may, kumbaga, ano yung naisip mo, bakit ganyan yung sinagot mo, paki-explain. Ganun sa case analysis. Now, yung research report, again, hindi ito full-blown research. Ang ginagawa lang kasi sa research report, I will be asking you to collect data in any form that you can, available to you. Let's say, for example, through online means, pwede kayo magpa-Google Docs. Or pwede rin naman sa bahay lang. Kasi I will be discussing naman the different methods for data collection eh. Now, once you've collected your data, kumbaga, gagawa na kayo ng summary ng results ng data. Ano yung nakuha yung data? Tapos yun na yung research report ninyo. So, hindi siya mahaba, hindi siya matrabaho. Madali lang siyang gawin. Okay, I will be providing you naman with a template, with an example for that para mas madali niyo siyang magawa. And also, sa lahat naman ng requirements nyo, do not worry, I will be giving you enough time to do your requirements. Next naman are the article reviews. So sa article reviews, I will be giving you journal article na related doon sa bagay na pinag-aralan natin. Tapos I will be asking for your insight regarding that article. Sa reflective essays naman, gagawin natin to once we do activities. So kapag may pinagawa akong activities na related doon sa topic na pinag-aralan natin, I will be asking for your reflection or for your insight regarding doon sa ginawa natin. And that will be done through essays. Malinaw ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes
sir.
po.
Opo.
May question regarding the grading system and the requirements?
Wala naman po.
Sure kayo?
Sir,
Yes po, sir.
May question?
sir, ask ko lang po, yung sa major examination po, synchronous din po ba yan? Like yung live po, na parang may timer, yung bawat question?
Yun yung i-identify ko pa. Ganito ha. Since nangangapa pa tayo kasi online classes, ang tawag dito, i-weigh ko muna yung pros and cons ng bawat mode para ma-identify natin kung ano yung mas beneficial for you and as well for me. Pagdating naman sa mga ganyang bagay, i-consult ko kayo palagi. So, i-consider ko kung ano yung mga concerns ninyo para hindi nyo naman ma-feel na left out kayo. Tsaka, every class naman is a collaboration between the instructor and the students. So, I think the important na makuha ko yung feedback ninyo, yung insight ninyo, bago ako makapag-come up sa final decision. So, ayan. Okay na ba yan?
Okay na po, sir. Thank you
Ayan.
po.
I-announce ko naman siya ahead of time para ma-prepare kayo. Tapos ayun nga, pag-uusapan naman natin siya. Any questions? May question pa? Hello?
Ay, wala po.
Wala nang
Wala na
question?
po, sir.
Wala na po
Wala po.
ata, sir.
Wala po.
Sure yan?
Wala na po.
Wala po. Thank you.
Ayan. So, with that, yun lang naman gagawin natin today. Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, this will be more of an orientation and simulation for now. Pero starting next week, we will be doing our discussions and then we will start with our activities requirements as well. Okay? So for now, pahinga muna kayo. Tapos, I will be seeing you next week. If may questions, do not hesitate to send me a private message or kahit sa group chat kayo mag-message para at least nakikita rin ng iba. So if they have the same concern, pag nasagot ko na, at least alam na nila yung sagot. Okay? So, that's all for today. Goodbye, class.
Goodbye,
Bye,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Bye.
Thank you po. Goodbye and thank you, sir.
Bye po.
Bye, sir. Bye po.